Yeah, so we're doing the contemplative arm of the practice now, and boy, we're going to spend so much time on this. Yeah, so much time on this. It's wonderful knowing that we don't have to rush through it. This is the most important, for many of us, the most important part. How do we practice? What is concentration anyway, and mindfulness, and in the way that they understand it traditionally, and what is right effort? We start with right effort. And there are so many things that right effort is connected with. You heard Don yesterday speak about the 4 endeavors and the 5 hindrances and the 7 factors of awakening. And they're like these tributaries or these interconnected areas of consideration that are all intersecting like concentric circles in different ways and arrows pointing here and there. And but we could get very abstract about some of this, and we're not going to do that with you, but we are going to take our time and go through each piece and to see how each piece is relevant, not just in some macro conceptual model of how things are, but how it relates to our practice, the training of the heart and the mind, which after all is what the Buddha was all about. He wasn't interested in making maps or models or he was interested in people waking up and becoming more released from suffering. And so all of these things which are relevant, we're really going to talk about all of these, the 4 endeavors and the hindrances and the awakening factor, but all of it is relevant to our practice. How is it relevant to our practice, to our mind and heart training? Yeah. And we start with right effort. Right effort. Right effort is so important. So important. And it's super important to me to communicate all of this. And Susan will agree, because we thought we were doing right effort for a long time. We thought right effort was working pretty hard, pushing, really trying hard and not allowing the mind to waver much. Really try to hold firm, really hold firm. Isn't that what effort is? So many of these words, even effort, even right effort, we have a different understanding of what it might mean in our culture. Right effort is doing things. Right effort is no pain, no gain. Right effort is come on, step into it, just do it. Like Nike said, just do it, And as a result, many of us over effort in meditation practice. There are 2 great tendencies, and we all experience them. We all experience them in meditation practice. One is pushing too hard, working too hard at it, trying too hard. And one is not enough energy, not enough effort, not enough effort. Yeah? That idea of letting things be, just no, it's all okay just the way it is, no effort required, isn't quite it. That's not what the Buddha was suggesting. It does take some effort to gather the energies together, to collect our energies, to begin to focus. It's just that when we do that, we tend to get tight. We tend to get tight. And the brow furrows. Meditation becomes serious business really quickly for us, doesn't it? Oh, it's a meditation. Oh, it can get really serious. Not for everyone, but for many of us. It's like, I want to get this right. I want to do it right. I want to accomplish this. Et cetera, et cetera. And that's a tendency for most folks that we've worked with, is to work really hard at it and then to feel that they're to some extent a failure at it, and then getting discouraged by it and not quite understanding or finding a way to right effort. How do we find a way to right effort? Because it combines both alertness and relaxation. And this is the training of it. I remember usually when we're alert, it's the sympathetic nervous system is active, is engaged, and we do think it's agency, it's doing things, it's the doing energy, the doing mind. There's an alertness to that. There's a sharpness and alertness to that. But there's also the relaxation part, the parasympathetic nervous system, that sense of settling back, and receiving our experience. The senses still work when we really settle back, don't they? I can still hear, I can still see, thinking still happens, So I can lean in with effort, or I can settle back in more receptive pose, right? I can steer and guide my attention, or I can settle back and do a little bit more receptive attention. Yeah. And in meditation practice, part of the art is bringing those two together. And they don't generally go so well together. We're either working hard, for the most part, or when we take our hands off the wheel and settle back, we kind of get drifty and dreamy and sleepy. It seems like an invitation to the organism to just space out, And so receptive usually means drifting, just drifting and wandering, It can be a lovely dream, but it's more drift. And that's not quite it. And the question is how to bring them together, So yes, it takes some energy, but not too much, just enough, Like if you were holding a baby bird in your hands right now, how much energy would that take? I don't want to squeeze. What kind of energy is that? What kind of energy? It has both alertness and receptivity to it. Alertness and receptivity, And how do we bring those together? And seeing that within your own experience, those two tendencies and those two ways of attending, and seeing that they're like two different whole gears. We can do it right now. You can reach out like you're really looking at me, for example, really looking, but you can settle back. You can settle back and you can still see me. You see that? It's a different kind of visioning, right? It's a different kind of use of the eyes in here or back here, right? And we need some of both in meditation, the dance between those two, and eventually the two of those coming together. Yeah? The two of those coming together. And this is part of the practice. It's a core part of the practice, actually. Really, really core part of a right effort is the right amount of energy, the skillful amount of energy, that's not too tight and not too loose. Not too tight and not too loose. And we'll go too tight and too loose, but it's finding that middle zone. And that middle zone is when we talk about the inner holding environment, what we're going for is that middle zone there. So it's soft and it's open and it's allowing, but it's also present. There's a holding energy to it. It's not a tense energy, but it's a soft holding energy. Yeah. And so practicing. There's remember when I was a kid, we had this thing called I think they were called finger handcuffs. Do you remember those? You put your fingers in them, and then the idea was to get them out. And of course, the first natural thing is to just pull, pull. And when you pull, of course, they tighten more around your fingers. But that's what we do in meditation a lot, Say, okay, I can get this. I can do this. I'm going to focus on the breath now. And we pull. And the breath is tight. But that's mindfulness, right? Except it's not. Except that's too tight. And then it starts to feel like a foreign object. And it's like the mind wants to wander away because it's too tight in there. Yeah. So then we go loose and we say, oh, I get it. We just let go. That feels good. But then I'm drifting and dreaming. Now I'm drifting all over the place. You see? And so it's like seeing those two positions, and then gradually seeing what the middle is and how they can come together. You know? So how much energy does it take to paint, to do something you love like that, to throw a pot? It takes some, but not too much. Not too much, but not none at all. How much? How much is the right amount of energy? Yeah. Okay. So we'll have so much more on right effort and right mindfulness and right concentration, probably months, because this is really the heart of the practice, a lot of it, finding our way here.